Hallo Jongens, ein Meisjes, ich bin Joshino und welcome bych ein new aflevering van. Which apparently means hello boys and girls, I'm Joshino and welcome to a new episode of... Oh bloody hell, I missed out the Monday question and answer. Oh well. Anyway, that was Dutch. Very bad Dutch. These questions are about 3 weeks old because I've been trying to get out content with a bit more substance and haven't got round to making one of them, but hey ho. And as Jäger was complaining about on Twitter the other day, he doesn't want YouTubers to say sorry and just get on with the content, so I'll get on with the content after all of this little bit of lingo. Anyway, ShadowTheOverseer says, have you ever thought about making videos about games other than AAA titles such as indie games, and what are your favourite indie games? And I have made quite a few videos about indie games before. The thing is, with other games that aren't Planetside 2, my internet is quite slow, so even if I wanted to get a game downloaded quickly and try and make a video for it, I think I'd be quite late to the party where other YouTubers might cover the content already, so I'm quite conscious of the fact that other people are covering the same content that I might put out, but maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know what other people think. But in the games in the past, I've got Chivalry Medieval Warfare's an indie game, Mountain Blade I played a lot of. I love those two. Those are very similar though. Natural Selection 2, Gary's Mod, Reign of Kings. There's literally lots and lots of indie games out there, and I think that's one of the biggest virtues of the PC at the moment, is that there is such a thriving indie market, and I've been playing loads of them. Well, recently actually, there's been that re-release of Terraria. I don't know what patch it is. Is it patch 1.7? Well anyway, maybe it's not. Maybe it's like 1.3. But they've added loads more stuff, like we've been playing on that new survival mode, hardcore mode I think it's called, which makes everything harder. Thanks for your question. John Doe says, just throwing it out there, dieting is not the best way to lose weight. As long as you're eating relatively healthy, the best/only healthy way to lose weight is to exercise. However, as long as you get enough fruits and vegetables and exercise moderately, you should have no reason to want to lose weight. Mainstream media is a bitch about weight, and you should completely ignore it. Just be healthy and love your body for what it is. So there's a piece of good advice from John Doe. You don't need a very slender body like on the magazines, especially if you're female. With males, I think it's less of a big thing. Men probably want more muscle or like a six-pack or something. But yeah, you just need to be healthy and happy with how your body is. And don't let yourself get unhealthy. I think that's the point. It's not so that you're chubby or so, but that you're not unhealthy and at risk of heart attack or something like that. Elsdon Yong says, what are some of your favourite games and what games do you want? Well, the thing is, I've got quite a few mods in the back of my mind that were absolutely amazing in their time. For example, for Battlefield 1942, there was a Desert Combat mod, which was before Battlefield 2 came out and all the games turned into Modern Warfare sort of simulators. There was Desert Combat, which was like the open world battle with lots of modern vehicles. But because it was a Battlefield 1942, there were lots of different vehicles there, and the bombers were amazing. Like, they had just all the equipment they had in there. There's just so much variation. And for Battlefield 2, there was Project Reality, which was always really interesting because it was, if you ever played it, you'd realise how squad driven it was. Everyone was talking over their mics, and you'd be actually patrolling the Helmand province or some deserty area in Afghanistan looking for little spots where the insurgents were. It was an interesting game. And what sticks in my mind in terms of mods in Battlefield 1942 is the Star Wars modded Galactic Conquest, because that was something else. There were boardable spaceships, capital ships, and there were capital ship fights. And there were also these amazing environments, like the inside of a Star Destroyer, but there was like a Lev train that went through the actual inside of the Star Destroyer, which at the time was just mind-blowing. And also all the vehicles, which I hate now in games like even Planetside 2, you only have like a couple of people in the vehicle, but you used to have like 8 people in one vehicle. And there was the spiritual successor after that, First Strike, which also was very good. And unfortunately, I don't think I actually look forward to Battlefront 3 that much. It isn't what I wanted. I wanted a big Battlefield game with a Star Wars theme, but it's looking more restricted and cinematic, which, you know, might be to some people's more cup of tea. And my all-time favourites are Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer on the Nintendo, and Morrowind on the PC. Morrowind, I spent so long in Morrowind when I was younger, and I was completely immersed in it. I've never felt that way in a game since then, but I was lost in that. I think it's probably because I was younger as well. I was able to get lost in things more easily and get drawn into the fantasy. But Morrowind was something else. And games looking forward to... I was looking forward to Battlefront 3 until they announced that it was only going to be 48 players, is it? I think, somewhere around that. I don't really know. There's that Endless Space, the game where you can come in and out to the environment and land. That looks pretty interesting. Fractured Space? Close enough. And I'm looking forward to Starbound being more completed, because at the moment there's a lot of potential, but there isn't the storyline there or the progression that it needs to be a really fully fledged game. And Starbound is, well, if you don't know, it's like the sci-fi version of Terraria, but you travel between planets, and there's like these stargates in between the worlds where you go visit these lost civilizations. And I want it to be good because I'm such a sci-fi buff, and it is an amazing game in its structure at the moment, but it just doesn't have the meat that needs to fill the structure. RainbowMech says, have you got a PS4? And if so, do you have PS4 on it? I think he meant Planetside 2. If you do have a console with games, do you have... Actually, I'm not sure what he was trying to say there. Or she. I don't have a PS4 and I don't have Planetside 2 on it, unfortunately. I just haven't got the money to invest in a console at the moment, and I play a lot of my games on the PC, and I feel that there's the big enough library out there, but I don't have any bad feelings towards console gamers or whatever. Oliver Sharratt-Chan says, have you ever used the Mass Effect Unification mod for Star Wars Battlefront 2? If not, then you should definitely try it out. And no, I haven't, but maybe I will be looking into it. On Star Wars Battlefront 2, on my current one, I think it's just called Total Conversion mod, and it adds loads of different maps, and also it adds robots with the double-ended lightsabers, and it's just quite good. It's like an upgrade to the current Battlefront 2, but Battlefront 2 is showing a lot of signs of aging, so I don't play it that often. Benisahen Gaming says, NC Miller, hot or not? Well, it does have Mukas, so awesome! Epic! LittelFreak13 says, Joshino, I have a question. Do you ever listen to music while playing Planetside 2 or any other game, or do you think it's bad because you can't hear everything then? I think that sound is actually fairly important in Planetside 2, although compared to other games like Counter-Strike and things like that, it's not one of the pillars. It's still important, but the thing with Planetside 2 is there's so many sounds, and in battles there's so many people shooting from all around that it's hard to tell where people are from just sound alone, or even using it as like another sense, because it can be misleading. But if you're on your own and you're in a small fight, you can easily hear where people are moving from around you if they're using a jetpack or even if they're walking, because you don't normally hear the footsteps in the game because there's too many sounds going on. But if you're on your own and there's not many people are at the base, you can hear the footsteps and hear where they're coming from, which I do think is important. But I think I just play with music if I feel like it. I do sometimes I usually play with some sort of like chill out music, or is it called chillcore, or it's just like chill out electronic ambient music, I suppose. BVI says, what are your thoughts on exploits in Planetside 2, in particular the grenade through the shield exploit, and particularly from Total Enigma? I basically don't agree with what he's doing, and we've all told him not to do it, but he hasn't listened. I'm not sure why he does it. And I don't see the point, to be honest. And in all honesty, I think there's blame on both sides. He shouldn't be doing it for one, but then also why haven't Daybreak fixed this? It's a bug that's existed for a long, long time. And there are other bugs which are really annoying, like the shield not regenerating that still exist and things like that. But exploiting's not cool. And especially things like going underneath a mountain or something, or, I don't know, just exploits. Yeah, it's like an iffy subject because it's not as bad as hacking, but it's still basically doing something wrong, so maybe it deserves a ban. Maybe they should be bannable for a small amount of time. And then just, if they keep on doing it, then, well, make it more of an eventuality, an eventual ban for a long period of time. But yeah, I don't think it should be encouraged, and I think that both it should be tried to be patched out, and then if not possible, then try and deal with the people they're exploiting. xflamousz says, what do you think of the constant changes to flight mechanics? With the last patch, they made some minor changes again, which forced me to spend about 3 hours on dueling people to get my aim acceptable again. Well, I've also had a very big blow to myself, in that you can't run Zook anymore. I mean, it's terrible. You can't get in and out of your scythe and do the repair maneuver, because it just doesn't work anymore. The physics have changed and it just flies off. I'm sure somebody will find out a way to do something similar, but at the moment they've got rid of Renzuking, so I think it's a bit annoying, to be honest, that they've changed the flight mechanics. I don't think there's anything wrong with them, and it seems like they've just tweaked them for the controller on PS4. I just wish that they kept them separate, in all honesty. FireFalcon124 says, we're having an EU referendum for sure now. Just want to know what your position was on Britain's role in it. In the EU or on the referendum? I'm not sure. Through the opinion polls, it's looking that 55%-ish of the population are pro-EU, so hopefully we won't be breaking up anytime soon. But I have mixed feelings about the EU. Economically, it can be quite damaging, as we see with Greece. They've just sort of cut them off, and although the infrastructure of Greece is a problem, and the way that they collect taxes, because there's a lot of tax evasion in Greece, a massive amount actually. It's one of the lowest percentage of tax collection rates in the world, whereas Germany has the highest successful taxation collection rate, which is like 99.7%, I think. I think Greece is like maybe 70% or lower. It's a problem that the EU sort of cut them off and punished them. I suppose that as somebody that is constantly in touch with Europeans, I feel a lot more European than the average Joe on the street, because I feel, well, I guess my own opinion is that we're all humans, and the closer we can get together, the better off we are. And as Europeans, we all have this sort of sense of Western freedoms and liberty, our cultural system of care, acknowledging that people are humans, I suppose, and keeping an EU together for that reason is quite important. I suppose that this Greek crisis is going to damage opinions on the EU. I suppose my hope is that Britain doesn't vote in a very emotional and angry way at this sort of anti-EU sentiment, when actually the emigration compared to the immigration is very close. The amounts that people leave the UK to go towards European countries is very similar to what people come into the UK. Although it is slightly higher to the UK, which I'll admit, but it's not a lot. And the arguments that the nationalists make in the UK about them leeching off our public health system and things like that are the same arguments that Spanish people have about the retired British in Spain. So I think it's just, and I think the in-squabbling is because there are such different societies with different leaderships within the EU, and they cause antagonisms within inside it. And Greece being cut off is very unfortunate. It's sad, really, that they aren't being cared for by the rest of the EU and treated as part of the EU rather than just another country, which seems sort of against the idea of the European Union. Anyway, that's off the point, but I think that might damage Britain's opinion of the EU after this Greek crisis. But I think it's likely that they'll vote positively for it, not jinxing it. Thank you all very much for my questions this week, and I'm very sorry that it has been 3 weeks. But if you would, more questions below would be absolutely appreciated, and put them in the comments section, and just comment anything you want to question me. It could be absolutely anything, unless of course they are inherently disturbing. I don't know. Yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Joshino.